Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Kenneth Lo. So Kenneth, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Dan, for having me. My name is Kenneth Lo. I'm calling in from San Francisco, California. I run a AI agency called Zen Biz Services.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm curious kind of how you got into the AI space and what made you want to start this business.
Yeah, so it's by sheer chance, actually. The past couple years, I was working at a private equity firm, and I was in charge of handling a lot of CRM and ERP data, massive amount. Years and years of data. And, that's when I leveraged some machine learning, some OG, I don't want to say AI techniques, but like ways to kind of massively produce a lot of data programmatically. And that's when, when AI wasn't really sexy or anything like that. It's like, when they're playing chess and Go and things like that. It wasn't any ChatGPT. And then during the past 18 months or so, when ChatGPT kind of make it all accessible to everybody, as long as you can, type relatively well, you'll be able to get some kind of text to whatever, insert the blank kind of input. So they kind of change the world. And then that make me wonder, should I really jump head first? Unlike I let the world go by last time the internet was happening, should I just try to join this movement? So that was about 18 months ago.
Amazing. So you started this company 18 months back here in private equity, saw a use case for AI and artificial intelligence. Let's just talk about your business today and exactly what you do and like what types of organizations you're serving and helping out with your company.
Yeah. So I have to say that, it's not like I had the same infrastructure as before. I don't have a sales team that has, golf club membership and all of that. None of that. Might become, from a huge ship to a one-person business. I do have a team in the Philippines to kind of help out with the augmentation with the power. But then in terms of selling, it is hard. So it's based on my network. It's based on the some of the outreach, some of the marketing, content marketing strategies. So with some good luck, we were able to reach some medium-sized businesses. Typically, they have a IT team. They know they have the needs, but they don't necessarily have an AI team per se to be able to bring it into implementation. So that has been our sweet spot.
Fantastic. So obviously, you said mid-sized companies, but is there a certain vertical that you kind of work with more? I mean, obviously, you could say any vertical could benefit from AI automation, but is there something specific or even a specific, example where in a certain industry where you really helped out an organization?
Yes. So that's where I remember seeing an Instagram reel is like reality versus like social media, right? So It's like, I would love to be able to get back into the finance world. And, most of the clients the funding, they have the needs. It's like the perfect circle for a younger outfit to get into that space. I think it takes a little bit of maturity, and that's when I'm trying to get there. For now, I have a lot of access on the ground in San Francisco to a lot of entrepreneurs, startup, and people like trying to go from 0 to 1. So they're launching into something. So we'll be able to help them to build some prototypes, if you will. Is a lot of OpenAI wrapper, like API wrapper kind of applications to kind of prove the demand. And because we're in this like huge land grab right now, I mean, like whatever great ideas you have today, it may be absorbed by Adobe and Google and Facebook, right? So it's hard to know what exactly the landscape is going to be, in 6 months. So for now, I'm trying to still figure it out. There's no magic bullet, I haven't figured out for sure. If somebody has it, please shoot me, please send it to me. But for now, I'm just trying to, work with, the people on the ground, the startups that actually have critical needs. Sometimes the budgets are in the flux, depending where they are in the funding cycle.
For sure. But I guess, like, do you have a case study of a specific, without mentioning a company name, but if you could maybe mention even a certain vertical, like a certain company, a certain industry where like they were using a more manual process and you came in and helped them automate those things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a really proud use case. Actually, the case study is out on our website. And the idea is like, this is a career coach. This is to help mid-level seasoned professionals, especially technical product managers. And this could be at the Big Fang or whatever acronyms now is like, Adobe, not Adobe, Everbad companies. And, they're pretty comfortable. They got the RSUs and everything. So they're in a chilled place. But like, what's the next step for them? So my client has a very curated approach. It's like, well, you come through this cohort, we'll go through a makeover of your LinkedIn profile from end to end. And if you will, it's kind of like a optimizing your LinkedIn persona. And so what is the end goal? Well, the end goal is the next step, the next career move, maybe moving as a managerial track, maybe it's another individual contributor track, but it's going to be a notch or two up. So how do you get there? Well, let's define the end goal is, the dream job. So the dream job is going to be in the job description. You go to NVIDIA or whatever and say, well, I do like this, stock options planned by NVIDIA. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take my existing LinkedIn profile, and my client has a lot of secret formulas from all the years of coaching, and she was involved, LinkedIn herself. So was able to kind of blend that in using her existing knowledge base that's really deeply buried into her mind, and then algorithmically put it into the closer product. So there's one of the really proud use cases.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's awesome when you really are able to help people and improve their business and really automate processes where, to your point before, they were not where they wanted to be, and you're able to help them really scale exponentially. So what would you say is the biggest challenge that you face today in your business?
Wow. How much time do we have? So, well, first of all, like for that specific, client, right? So the expectations. Well, first, there are two camps. AI is going to take over, wipe out the humankind. There's no more jobs. Everyone is going to be on universal income, sipping, Mai Tais on the beach. Not quite true. Mm-hmm. And then there's another camp. Oh, yeah, I can do everything. Let's just put this prompt in and just sip a Mai Tai on the beach and not do anything. Well, also not true. So there's a lot of expectations, especially with the client side. They say, well, it is a boost. It's not an end-to-end solution. It could be in the foreseeable future, in a couple of years, right? Before Elon Musk does his things. But until then, it's really an accelerant. It's still a harmonic relationship between, the machines, the data, and humans. So that's that. In terms of the business, is that, well, there are all these great things that AI could be doing. And if you want to kind of simplify it, it's just like automation, right? You're just like scaling a tedious process that we've been doing repetitively. But controlling the expectations, right, between those two camps is also challenging.
Hey y'all, it's Dan Melnick, the CEO of Zen. And I wanted to share a special offer for all of our listeners. Right now, if you need software development services, we'll give you 2 weeks of a free trial. Do you need to update your website? Do you want to build a mobile app? Do you want to update something that you've been working on for a long time? We've worked in a high-level technologies like AI, machine learning, blockchain. So shoot me a text, 817-874-2208. Thank you.
100%. Because I think you still have a lot of people that are sort of hesitant about AI. Then you have the people that are all in for AI, but they're, to your point, are not 100% clear on like what the use case can be and when, and really the best way to bring it in. I think, even people who are using it today have a hesitation about, making things too robotic. Like, how do you really make sure that, things are high level and helping my business, but not to a point where it seems like my customers are interacting with the robot, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. And, you can be using the wrong tool for the wrong purpose. And so you expecting a polished outcome just by a couple prompts, I think it's still, sci-fi. We're not there yet.
100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in terms of like, obviously you mentioned earlier that you're based in the Bay. The Bay is a huge tech hub. So are you working mostly with clients in the Bay, or do you work with people nationwide, globally? It's like, where do you typically try to find your clients in terms of geographic location?
Yes, that is a very, very good question. So I think, maybe half of a business is coming from the Bay. And it's because, I'm able to go down the streets, go down to Soma, go to an event, and then talk to a real person over a cocktail. You get a little buzz, you talk shop a little bit, but mostly not shop. And then, you find a bond. Amazingly, that's still how business is done. Video, email, all of this stuff is very effective. But at the end of the day, we are social human beings. So that is, a very effective networking business development tool. And from that, there will be referrals. And then, sometimes they go to college, or maybe they go to, golf tournaments or whatever. And then, I can, get more business that way. So there's a little bit extension from that. But I would say the core is really, whoever I can meet and shake hands and look into the eyes. So it could be conferences, it could be networking events. Now, I'm very lucky, being in San Francisco, it's a good, healthy number of events I can just waltz to, and I be able to, have a pretty decent reach.
Yeah, I mean, the Bay, there's nothing like it. Obviously, I'm in Austin, so Austin is definitely pulling its weight in terms of the size of the city, but the Bay is still, tell people, still far and above Superior. So, I mean, obviously, you've been doing this for about 18 months now, which is a good amount of time. So I always ask this question. I'm curious, Kenneth, if you could go back in time before you started, what would you say is the biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew?
Oh, geez, hitting in the head. Shiny objects. There's so many shiny objects that's going to be magically showing up on your radar. So, oh, rag, oh, frontier, oh, this and that. Doesn't really matter. It comes down to, values. What problem are you solving? I'm going to boil down to even simpler. What is it in it for me? When you go to a client or prospect, or your mother or whatever, well, my mother maybe is different, maybe exempt, because they love you unconditionally.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But most people are not that altruistic. So prove the values like early on, have quick wins. What is it in it for me? You can't make it cryptic. You have to make it plainly visible. I wish I was able to do more than that, instead of kind of, following the flock. Oh, this is the big trend right now. This is the fad right now. Let me go do that. And then at the end, it's going to be all over the map. It's going to be unfocused.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a very common piece of advice that we hear on this show is just, focus on something, really triple down on it, be good at it, find something that works, and stop trying to do too many things at once. It's going to really hurt your business. So if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for the business?
Well, so there have been some, I got to say, unfair advantages that I haven't fully leveraged. Like, for example, I have certain professional background, I have certain athletic background. I came from track cycling. So there's some characteristic. And I don't know, I share with you, but I got a near-death experience. I just recovered from cancer the past couple months.
Yes.
So now I got this renewed clarity. I don't want to sound too spooky or new age, but I really want to exploit my unfair advantages that have been given to me. I spend a little bit of time in the finance world, in the back office, in the private equity world. I should be able to try to go back into that vertical to find some relevant use cases and leverage the network, instead of like, whoa, maybe I should go into healthcare because there's some room for improvement. Let me say that after being a heavy consumer the past 6 months.
100%. Yeah, exactly. You have to kind of go toward your strengths, but sometimes you just never know where opportunities can arise, and I'm glad that you're doing better. So on that note, Kenneth, if somebody watching the show today wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media, email, I guess best ways to get in contact?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, pretty active, on a daily basis. You can find me Kenneth Lo. Lo is the last name. I also have this alias, kennethlo.me. It takes you straight to this LinkedIn profile. And the companies that I run is called Zen Biz Services.com. And you can, find them. And I've been also getting into this YouTube game, trying to be in the camera shy forever. And now I'm trying to get myself out there, showing off my new hairdo. It's just very fresh. It's a fresh shave from a couple of days ago. And so you can, connect with me that way.
Amazing. Well, Kenneth, I want to say thank you so much for your time. Appreciate having you on the show. And let's keep in touch, and best of luck with Zen Biz.
Thank you so much, Dan. Really appreciate you hosting us.
Thank you.